Governor vetoes a bipartisan bill in a unique fashion, and a trip through history.
Everything's pretty much in original condition.
A piece of Columbus now on display at the Museum of the Beartooths. The MTN 10 o'clock news starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, good evening and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night. I'm Russ Riesinger. A lot at stake on this election day for school districts across Yellowstone County and Montana. School board seats up for grabs in several districts, including Billings. But it's the levies drawing the most interest tonight. We begin in Laurel, where a general fund levy hasn't passed in nearly 2 decades. They had 4 on the ballot today. We're going to start with the elementary reserve levy totaling $1 million for 5 years. That would go for school safety and security issues along with maintenance, but that one going down in defeat with more than 1,500 or about 56% voting against it. Now to the elementary general fund levy. That comes in at $240,000 per year. Would have added about $16 per year in taxes on a $300,000 home. Residents also voting that one down convincingly, more than 1,600 voting against that one. The high school reserve levy is for $400,000 per year for 5 years. That would have added about $27 in taxes, and that one suffering the same fate, losing by more than 300 votes. Meanwhile, the general fund levy would include staffing, utilities, and learning materials at the high school. That levy, too, following a similar script as it falls tonight as well in convincing form there. So added up for a district that has already seen nearly 20 teachers cut in the last 2 years. Another disappointing night, to say the least. Our David J. has been following those races all night and joins us live from Laurel, where it is once again back to the drawing board for the district. David?
Russ, we're here at Laurel High School. Those levies would have helped with maintenance here. They say the gym needs some work, also some work out in the parking lot with potholes, and also helped at some of the other buildings, and along with safety and security. The superintendent says that the general fund levies have not passed by the voters in 18 years here in Laurel. He also tells us that 3 of the levies were for building reserves and would have been for 5 years and taking care of safety resource officers and school resource officers. The other 3 were for general fund for expenses, staff, utilities, and instructional materials. We did have a chance to talk with Superintendent Matt Torix about the results.
I'm very disappointed, but you know, people are very tax weary, and they're just tired of taxes, and I get it. I mean, I'm paying taxes too, so I totally understand. But you know, I'm out here to try to do what's best, what I feel is best for the kids, and I know the board feels the exact same way. And we felt like these levies were what we needed. We need them. Our high schools from the early '60s, and it's starting to show its age in a lot of different areas.
Matt Torix says that there still is some reserve fund money left, and they'll get by with that. Also, as far as the school board races, Jennifer Jones, Christopher Larash, Kayla Gray, and Kelly Anderson were re-elected as the incumbents have filled their positions once again. That's the latest here from Laurel. Russ, will send it back to you.
All right, thanks a lot. David J. reporting live tonight. We want to move on to School District 2 here in Billings, where there were no levies this time around, but 2 school board seats up for grabs, and one of those seats, District 5, will definitely have a new leader, with Jordan Giudice and Amanda Brown facing off in this one. And Giudice is a public accountant who currently serves as the treasurer of the PTA at Poly Drive Elementary. Brown is a homeschool mom of 2, and you can see how that one has come out, as Giudice receives almost twice as many votes as Brown, with around 1,800 votes compared to Brown's roughly 1,000 votes. Now to District 7, where former West High School soccer coach Luke Ashmore is challenging incumbent John Van Langen. Those results showing perhaps a bit of a surprise, as Ashmore ruins Van Langen's bid for re-election. And there are many other seats and levies on this year's ballot across the area. All those results can be seen scrolling right now on the bottom of your screen and online at ktvq.com. Well, it's some good news on the weather front as warmer temperatures are ahead. With more on that, here's meteorologist Jason Stiff. Jason?
Oh, we did have plenty of clouds yesterday, lots of rain and snow. Today, still lingering clouds, but even now the clouds are starting to move away and thin out over southern Montana as well as northern Wyoming. So very little cloud cover for a large part of our region, and the temperatures starting to recover a little bit, still below average with all that cloud cover still in place during the course of the day. We dropped down to 36 degrees early this morning, but it started to rise. 50 degrees was the high. That was still 13 degrees below average, but we did really well yesterday with the precipitation, and we're still over 3.5 inches above average for the year thus far. We don't have a lot of rain in the extended forecast. A few chances, though, also more warmth. Your complete forecast coming up.
All right, thanks, Jason. President Trump welcomed the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, to the Oval Office today as those two countries try to resolve tensions over trade. That meeting began with plenty of pleasantries, but then took an awkward turn when Carney defended his country's sovereignty from President Trump's suggestion that Canada become part of the U.S.
Met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months. It's not for sale, won't be for sale.
But never say never. Never say never.
Both countries have imposed new tariffs since March. Trump said afterwards that he is not ready to budge. Styrofoam containers will live to see another day here in Montana. This comes after Governor Greg Gianforte vetoed a bipartisan bill to ban most styrofoam in the state, and he delivered that veto in unique fashion. Tonight, our Hannah Pettiferi has more on the announcement and the reaction to it.
This is what Governor Gianforte thinks of a styrofoam bill that passed the legislature with bipartisan support.
The state banning styrofoam is costly government overreach.
Because of that, he's vetoing the ban. A couple weeks ago, we talked to a server at Montana Brewing Company who was excited to see where this bill could go.
I think being a leader in doing this is going to set a precedent that our kids and future generations are going to look back on and say, like, there's where it started, here's who started it.
The House Bill 477 passed with bipartisan support to phase out polystyrene, which is in styrofoam, in single-use food containers with certain exceptions. However, on May 1st, when the bill landed on the governor's desk, he turned to social media, calling it a hot mess, and vetoed it.
A bill just came to my desk that bans styrofoam containers for food and drinks in Montana. This bill would create a new government program costing taxpayers $300,000.
He says it would also force higher costs on 7,500 Montana restaurants and businesses, as well as consumers.
The state banning styrofoam is costly government overreach. And like many Montanans, I enjoy hot coffee in a styrofoam cup because it keeps it hot. And this bill is a hot mess.
Back at Montana Brewing Company, the governor's stunt is not hitting the mark.
Gianforte seems to really be invested in the styrofoam and wants to keep it here.
That being said, the restaurant will be unaffected because they don't use styrofoam containers.
I'd imagine the people that fought hard to get it passed will be disappointed.
In Billings, Hannah Pettiferi, MTN News.